are four major parts that contribute to a 6 or 7 or even 8 figure a year business slash channel for YouTubers. And I like to call them engines. It was these four engines that contributed to a 28,000 in 4 days result for two educational YouTubers. It was because of these four engines is how we've built now the foundation that we're now going to use to scale them to $1 million in 2026. So yeah, I want to kind of just dispel and first of all tell you a little bit of context. Most creators are stuck thinking that the problem is their content. Like most creators think that, okay, I need to post more content for me to make more money with my channel, with my creator business, etc. So what they do is they focus on better thumbnails, better hooks, more videos, more views, more virality, more likes, all these, metrics that they think contribute to more money in their bank account. But I can promise you for a fact, this is not what is holding you back. The real problem is you have all this audience trust built up because most likely if you're watching this, you already have thousands to tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands to even millions of subscribers slash followers in your audience. You already have enough people in your audience. Why do you think posting more content is going to make you more money? If posting more was going to be the reason why you made more money, you would have already made more money because you already have a ton of people in your audience. You just don't have the systems that turn all the brand trust and all the expertise that you have in your brain into consistent, predictable revenue. And that's why you're burnt out posting consistently and constantly, still just not making real money. I know that your months are up and down, up and down. This sponsor hits, this sponsor doesn't hit. People don't really buy the product for the affiliate that you're promoting, so you don't make as much money. I want to give a little bit of context to Dusty and Aaron's situation. So Dusty and Aaron were already making about 10K a month or so from their channel. So let me pull up my creator tools. Yeah, they were making around 10K a month or so from the channel. Like the occasional brand deal or sponsorship would hit, and that would make them maybe make a little bit more for the month, but this was pretty much inconsistent. Dusty and Aaron, bro. Dusty and Aaron legit have tons of expertise. Tons of expertise. Their audience trusted them 100%. They are pretty much at the top of their specific niche, plant-based fitness, and it is why I added a plant right here because they are plant-based fitness. So Dusty and Aaron, tons of expertise. Their audience trusted them 100%, but can you imagine having tons of this expertise and brand trust and still selling things that don't even actually help your audience? This is what contributed to the fact that they were only making about 10K a month or so from their channel. Because Dusty and Aaron, they were already selling stuff. They had a low ticket community, workshops, courses. They even had a higher ticket sort of a product that was selling very, very inconsistently. And when it comes down to it, you can have all this expertise and brand trust, but if you're selling things that your audience doesn't want, you're not going to make money consistently. It's just the truth of the matter. You're not giving them what they actually want. And most likely for you who's already probably either have tried to sell something before or just are currently, selling something right now, the reason why your months are inconsistent because you're not actually giving your audience what they want. We looked at everything they were doing and realized the solution was not to add more products or just post more content or create another course or do another launch. That was not going to fix their money issue because they already had enough traffic, aka people in their audience, hundreds of thousands of people in their audience. The main problem is that they're not consistently turning those people into money. Simple. That's all it is. In fact, you could hear that and literally not post again for the next 30 or 45 days and still make a ton of money because you optimize a couple of things that we're going to talk about in this video. And we legit stripped away all of the complexity and all these different things that they were selling because they were selling multiple products. We said, freak all of that. We're going to have one simple focus. So what we did is build one simple offer built around the one major problem their audience actually wanted solved. And this is going to depend on what niche you are. If like whatever niche you are, like maybe watching this, like maybe you're a photography niche, or maybe you are a coding YouTuber. The major problem that your audience wants solved is going to change. For Dusty and Aaron, the main problem, the most major significant problem that their audience wanted to solve was being able to master plant-based fitness, get more confidence, get more energy, and lose weight. So what ended up happening when we actually did this, when we just focused around one simple offer around one major problem? We literally more than doubled their monthly revenue, and we did that in 4 days. We did this with only 100 people. We did this with only 16 booked calls that all showed up 100%. Do you know what it means to show up, to have 16 booked calls and people show up to every single call? It means the thing that you're selling is absolutely dialed, as in it is literally exactly the thing that your audience wants, because they're not skipping the call. They want to show up and give you money. We sold out in 4 days. We sold out all spots. We could have made way more than 28,000. We just sold out all spots and we capped off spots. And that's kind of a hint to one of the engines and why this is kind of a mechanism of one of the engines. So why is that the case? And like I said earlier, we literally just gave the audience what they asked for. Simple as that. If you can listen with your ears, and I know you can if you're watching this video, you can also do the same. Because we had people literally baffled at the 4-figure price point, as in like legitimately confused like why it wasn't more. And I really wish I had a screenshot for this. I could have sworn I had it, but yeah, I don't have it. But people literally like, wow, like this is only 3K. This should be way more. Why is it? Why? Like, how does that even occur? Like, let's actually think about it. It occurs because one, we're giving them the exact thing that they want. We're giving them literally the exact thing that they want. So when we figure out the major problem, to them it's like, oh, this is a no-brainer. I'll pay any price because it's literally the exact thing that I want in my life. Of course I'm gonna pay any price. Let's go back to like the coding example. Say you're a coding YouTuber. Imagine you could help people. You have the expertise to know how to help people get to 6-figure a year coding jobs. So, and then when you and let's just say that's the number one major problem that your audience has. Do you not think if you created something surrounding helping people get to 6-figure a year coding jobs, that people wouldn't pay any single price point to do so? And specifically with that, you could charge multiple 5 figures to do so because you're helping them get a 6-figure a year job. Like, what are we even talking about here? The thought of it even excites me because, like, dude, like, it's actually like a no-brainer. And you can apply that to any niche. It doesn't matter if you're a chess YouTuber, if you make videos about helping people get better at baseball, it doesn't matter. So the most important takeaway is Dusty and Aaron now have built the infrastructure and systems to actually make predictable income each month. They know that now whenever they open spots for their offer, they know they will sell out spots pretty much each time. It's because they know what they're selling is the actual thing that their audience wants. And this is proven by the demand of selling out in 4 days. And they know that as they continue to grow and as they continue to build up their brand so that they can hit that $1 million a year run rate, they know this offer is the core thing that they'll be able to sell and get. Because really, $1 million is a math equation. It's just about how many people can buy your 4-figure price point. And of course, with the other engines that I'm about to talk about in the rest of this video, I mean, it makes kind of doing so very, very simple. So now with the foundations of actually giving your audience what they actually want, like the actual number one problem that they have in creating an offer around it, scaling and growing your educational business / YouTube channel becomes easy because everything starts from these foundations. Your content, your systems, your product, everything will revolve around this offer. And remember, you can't create the offer if you don't know the number one problem that your audience has. So that's why you must ask them at first. So let's actually talk about what these 4 engines are. Because without these 4 engines, making 6, 7, or even 8 figures as a YouTuber, YouTube business, creator business is really honestly going to be impossible. You're going to have too many holes that prevent it from being able to happen. So stay tuned because these 4 engines are very, very important. The last one is actually the most important, but the last one doesn't make sense without the first 3. So let's actually talk about what these engines actually are. So first engine is going to be the offer engine. This is going to be taking everything you know, all of your expertise, and packaging it into a one clear high-ticket offer that solves one specific problem for one specific type of person. We kind of touched on this earlier, but we want to kind of go deeper into what this actually means because most creators, like we have said earlier, are just selling random things. They are selling things with no real structure or strategy. That's going to be the workshops. That's going to be the courses. That's going to be even the high-ticket offers that they might currently be selling. That's going to be the community. The problem with all these different products, even though I know you mean well, it just confuses your audience. That's really the truth of the matter. And also it makes you look like you have less expertise than you actually do. And that's the problem. Like, because your audience, when they look at all these products, they first of all they have zero clue like where to actually even start. And it's because of that they decide to pretty much do nothing. And over time, they realize like, because of course free content can only do so much, they realize like, okay, maybe you can't help them as much as they think you can, and they drop off. You need to solve one big problem for the people who want the solution, and that makes everything within your channel easier. And let me give you the example of Dusty and Aaron, because like I said, they were selling multiple things. They were selling low-ticket communities, courses, workshops, they were selling a program, etc. But stripping away all these different things and putting everything into just one thing makes everything else in the channel easier. It makes the content strategy easier. It makes your marketing easier. It makes you getting good results for your audience easier because you're only focusing on one major product. Selling lower price things makes you less money in the long term because the thing that actually makes you more money becomes scarcer. What do I mean by this? Lower ticket products do not allow you to get the best results possible for your customers. You're just not going to be able to because you're selling something lower price, and because you're selling something lower price, you're not putting as much time and investment into, getting results for your customers, making sure they're doing the things that they need to do in order to get to the results faster as well. And most likely, you're selling things in a sort of a do-it-yourself sort of manner, which is kind of hard to control who gets results for because they're doing it themselves. They don't have accountability. The truth of the matter is, when you sell something higher price, people get better results, people give better testimonials, and you have a better case study from it. And it's because of that now turns into a flywheel. Because now you get for example, you have your product that turns into case studies, wins, testimonials. Those testimonials and case studies turn into better content, more proof, and content and proof attracts more people who are similar to the people who got, amazing wins and got amazing results in your product. And then those people then funnel back into your product. And you can see how it's a loop, it's a cycle. The better your product is, the more case studies you get. The more case studies you get, you can now distribute that through your content and through your social media. Because you're distributing it between your social media, you're attracting more people who are like the people who are in the program who got those results. Those people who also want that same result buy and invest into your product. But you can't do that if you're selling just a cheap course. It's just not going to happen. People aren't going to get that good of results. You're not even going to be able to control their results. And you can't even create a good course until you've solved the major problem that your audience has at a high enough level, enough times. And that's going to take you 15 to 20, 25 customer transformations before you can create a banging course that works. Because the truth of the matter is, you don't actually know what works. And that's why you're selling your stuff, because that's why you're selling your stuff and you're not getting that much income from it predictably because you don't even know what actually works. You're not getting good customer results in the thing that you're selling, so you're not bringing in new business consistently. So you need to figure out, you need to make a decision. Are you going to continue selling without structure, or are you going to figure out one transformation your audience needs, one price point, and one promise that you are making? Because the truth of the matter is, the former is going to keep you on another treadmill, man, because really, selling lower priced products means you need more and more people funneling into these lower priced products in order to make it worth it for you to even sell it in the first place. Say, for example, you want to make 50K, 75K, 100K a month. You're going to need thousands of people just to be buying your stuff consistently in order to sustain those months. Rather, if you just sold 10 high ticket packages that say maybe $4,000, which is a very reasonable price point. I know your brain's probably like, $4,000? How could I charge that? But trust me, if you're solving the biggest problem that they actually are struggling with, $4,000 is nothing to them. They're like, oh yeah, easily. I'm about to solve the biggest problem that I literally have in context to what you make videos about. I will easily pay that price point. You could sell 10 of those and make $40,000 a month. 10 people out of the thousands to tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of people in your audience, dude. It's very simple. And that's why figuring out the one transformation your audience needs, the one price point you can charge it at, and the one promise that you are making is always going to be the foundation. And that's why we're talking about the offer engine first, because nothing really matters if the offer isn't dialed in. But then the next thing is the launch engine. Now, this is very, very important. This is going to be the exact multi-tiered system that actually generates predictable revenue until you are ready to scale your creator business. Offer engine and launch engine are going to be the foundations that get you to your first 50K, 100K, 150K, consistently. Yes, you might have made these numbers and made this amount prior, but you weren't making it consistently. This is what actually creates that consistency, the launch engine. So the problem is most creators, they might launch an offer once. They might launch it a couple times, make some money, but just have no idea how to repeat it or make it actually predictable. I'm sure you've gone across a scenario like where you've released something, you maybe made some money, but now you don't really know kind of what you did and how you could even make it repeatable so that you could do the exact same thing again. Like the launch that you had isn't compounding. Like it's not something that you could take from what you learned and actually apply it to the next. You don't know what you did. You don't know why it worked or why it didn't work. At the end of the day, it all comes down to systems. If you can't repeat the result you got, or even so, get a better result, you do not have a predictable system. You just got lucky. That's really the truth of the matter. If you can't make that same result or get an even better result, you don't know what you did wrong. You don't know what you did right. So I want to talk about Cecil. So Cecil, we did about 4K in his first launch ever. Cecil, he had never really truly monetized prior, so this was really an accomplishment for him. But obviously, there were some things that like we fixed. But in the next launch that we did with Cecil, we literally more than doubled what we did in the first launch, which was we did about 10K in 6 days. And the only reason we were able to double what we did is because we identified kind of what went wrong in the first launch, what did go right, what we did well, what we didn't do bad, or what we didn't do well, and we stripped the fluff, stripped the stuff that we did bad, and doubled down on the things that we did good. And simply enough, our engine, our system is building upon itself. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. It's like a compound effect. So one launch creates data so that you can use that data to improve the next launch. But of course, you need to know what data to actually collect and what actually matters in terms of being able to make that next launch better. So, like I said, you need a system that builds up upon itself. You need a flywheel. Like each launch should make your business and channel better. Something like a momentum builder. The launch engine is a 4-stage ladder that builds upon itself. This is very, very important. Builds upon itself. So we're going to talk about that soon. So stay tuned for that. The launch engine is something that has been coined by us, D-Waves Acquisition. So it starts off with stage 1. This is going to be the squeeze launch, 0 through 6 weeks. This is the first stage. Use this stage to actually validate that people want what you're selling. And you can kind of see how the engines are starting to come together because you can't get to the point where you actually validate what people want what you're selling if you didn't go through the offer engine, if you don't have an offer engine. You build a basic offer based on what your audience actually says they want, create simple posts promoting the thing that they said they want, close 5 to 10 people, then cap spots. This is very important. You only want to close 5 to 10 people. You don't have the systems yet to be able to run a full-scale program or full-scale, customer fulfillment. You need to figure out what works with 5 to 10 people, figure out what doesn't work, and use what does work to double down for when you can eventually add more people into your offer. This is legit only a 7 to 14 day process. About 7 days of setup, 7 to 9 days of launch. You do that, you can cash collect 20K to 60K while also getting proof of demand that people want the thing that you offer. Stage 1 is strictly just about collecting data because we're going to use this data to double down and improve in stage 2. Stage 2, coined by us, once again, is before synthesis 1. This is about 6 to 12 weeks. This is the second stage. Use this stage to refine the offer based on the first stage's feedback. Usually, after the first stage, you're not going to have very, very clear ideals on what people actually want, what resonates with people, what people actually want to hear, as in like what your audience actually wants to hear when you talk about your offer and what you talk about in your content. You'll now be able to use the data from the previous launch to create better posts with this new updated data, improve your offer, improve everything based on feedback. Now you can open up a few more spots. But once again, you still want to cap against spots because you're still not ready until you have been able to help a decent amount of people. We'll talk about the exact number in a little bit. The launch itself, once again, is only 7 to 10 days, and you can expect 30K to 70K cash in that time frame. You're literally getting paid for validation of your expertise and offer. You're getting paid for people to prove to you that they actually want what you sell. They actually want to get into sort of the problems that you help solve and they actually want those problems solved. So what you can actually start to notice is that each stage is starting to build up upon itself. And once we get to the 4th stage, you'll kind of see like why we designed a 4-stage ladder. And like I said, we're just slowly building foundations. And even while building the foundations, you can still make quite a lot of money to sustain you. But we're just setting up your business to be able to run at a 6, 7, or 8 figure a year run rate without dealing with a bunch of the hiccups that you're probably dealing with right now in your current creator business. So you want to strip away everything and go back down to root and fix everything from that root. Stage 3 is going to be before synthesis 2. This is just going to be a double down of before synthesis 1. This is the 3rd stage. Use this stage to strengthen proof, cultivate more case studies, testimonials, and prep your product slash service for the final stage. So, what does this actually mean? So, at this point, in the first two stages, you have people who you're helping. You have students who are actually going through your current offer. Hopefully, you've taken my advice and it's high ticket. And these people are starting to get phenomenal and amazing results. What you should be doing the entire time is turning these results into case studies and testimonials and sharing and showcasing those results and testimonials throughout your content, throughout your social media, throughout maybe interviews with these certain students to see like what they're doing right, like why they're winning, etc. And this is going to be the foundation of your content and quote unquote marketing. This is what's going to actually get people to want to buy from you consistently. Like if people don't see that other people are winning within your product and your offerings, why would they buy from you? You have literally zero proof or not enough proof showing that, hey, people are actively and consistently winning and winning and winning. And when I talk about prepping your product for the final stage, so let me pull this up. Prepping your product and service for the final stage. This is going to now turn into something where the goal is not just to be a slave to, your customers, a slave to, running a business. You don't want to just be a slave within your company. The end goal is ultimately to always have leverage. Leverage is being able to get more for what you put in, like getting more out for what you put in. You want to be able to create sort of a product and service that allows you to have sort of leverage. And when I say a product or service, that could mean a course, a program, something that people can go through, get results without more time and effort exerted on your part. There's a reason why we have this 4-stage system. It is because you don't get to the point where you can create an amazing course or program or product without these first couple stages of getting proof, getting validation that people are actually winning and getting results. How could you create an amazing product if you don't know what actually works? That is why we do a stage by stage system. Because now, by the time you're at stage 3, you probably have 10, 15, even 20 people who have gone through your offerings and systems and are starting to get amazing results for it. So you know what works, you know what doesn't work, you know what could be cut, you know what could be added. Now you can turn all of everything that's good into an actual system that now you're able to release eventually fully to the rest of your audience that you know works because you just went through 15, 20, 25 people going through that exact same system. And when you are making an offer for one specific person, you're going there for that one specific person. There are thousands to tens of thousands to even hundreds of thousands of that same one specific type of person. So when you create your system that works for that one type of person, you're able to still now attract the same type of person over and over again, and they'll still be able to get amazing results because the one type of person doesn't change. You're now just able to attract more of that one specific type of person. So, like it says, this means you have slash are creating a service slash offer that can be sold to infinite amount of people without the quality of the results breaking. Because the end goal, of course, of creating a business is time and location freedom that you desire. But you can't get to a point where you can create a product that can be sold to infinite amount of people without the quality of the results breaking by first going through first 10, 15, 20 people of actually getting one-to-one close results with people, then turning that into an actual system. And this, like I said, stage 3 before Synthesis 2, the launch itself is only 7-10 days, and you can still expect 30K to 70K cash in that time frame. So you're literally getting paid to build an amazing product and build an amazing offer and build an amazing business. You're getting paid to do so. So now, once you have dialed in and have created something amazing that actually gets people results without more time and effort on your part, you can now get to the final stage, and that's going to be synthesis. The fourth and final stage. Now that you've gone through 3 stages of offer and product validation, because that's all the stages are, it's just offer and product validation so that selling becomes really, really simple. Like selling becomes like a no-brainer because you have so many results and such a dialed in offer because you've had so many people go through it at this point. You're now ready to officially launch your proven offer and product to the full public with or without capping spots. It's up to you, but you could enroll 50 to 100 people in this launch and make hundreds of thousands of dollars, or you could just cap it off at 25 to 30, and you could even, what you want to do, run this launch model over and over again. But yeah, at this point, you have 20 to 25 plus case studies, testimonials, and proof from the previous 3 stages. And it is these foundations that make sales literally effortless. Do you think you're going to sell better if you have 20 to 25 case studies or if you have only 2 to 3? It's kind of like a no-brainer. You're going to sell way more with 20 to 25, and it's not even going to feel like sales because people see how much results you've gotten. So it's like, oh yeah, easily I can get this. It's simple. This guy has done it for so many people. This guy or girl, don't think I'm getting you misconstrued. This guy or girl has done it for so many people. I'm sure they could easily do it for me. You're now in a position where you get to choose how you want to grow your business. Whereas before, you're just trying different things. You're trying this offer and this product and this course and this workshop, trying to make something stick. You're in a position where you have to make something work. You now get to be in a position here where you get to choose what works. You get to choose the delivery model, whether you want to keep one-to-one calls or not, group calls or not, do it yourself or just a do-it-yourself course. But of course, it's going to be a do-it-yourself course that's so good because you've literally done what is taken to make that course good over 20-25 people. You could even do a hybrid model. You can choose sales calls or no sales calls. I see people all the time saying how I did this without sales calls, but they don't talk about the big brand. I want to curse right there, but I'm not going to. The big brand that they've built that even allows them to get to that point, as well as the major case studies that they have that allows them to get to that point, as well as the industry, as well as how known they are that allows them to get to that point. You're not going to be able to not do sales calls if you don't have a ton of proof. So I want you to get that notion out your head. You can get to that point where you're not taking sales calls though, when you've gone through the first 3 to 4 stages of actually working closely with 20 and 25 people and getting them phenomenal results. You can either choose a lean operation or choose to be a full team. That's what I'm saying. You get to choose whether you want to run a 6, 7, or even 8-figure a year company. You can work 10 hours a week or even 40. You have proven results and foundations that allow you to scale in whatever way resonates with you. So you're not locked into one specific business model or a way of running your business. You get to choose, but you have to focus on the foundations first because it's the foundations that allow you to choose. So you can expect to cash collect 100K to 300K in 10 to 14 days. This is very, very easy because remember, I feel like you need to remember you have tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of people in your audience. To cash collect 100K to 300K would only be maybe 50 to 100 people, maybe 150 max, out of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. You're now opening up the floodgates to the rest of your audience. You're not capping spots anymore. You're opening up to as many people as you want in that time frame. Maybe if you want, you can even extend it to 30 days. Your proof and messaging are dialed in because you went through the first 3 stages. Your avatar and offer is 100% known and understood because you went through the first 3 stages. And you have all the foundations required down packed in order to put more and more humans through the system. Simply enough, now at this point, just putting as many people through the system as possible because you have dialed in what works, what actually, creates predictable income into your business. And these things are going to be the offer, the avatar. Now it's just putting as many avatars through the offer as possible. And you're able to do this because you now can create tons of content around the results you've gotten. You have way more clarity on who you're serving, their problems and pain points and their desires. And you can talk about that in your content, which then attracts more people like that avatar that you're trying to attract. Like I said, it's a flywheel. More customers through the system means the more results you get. The more results you get, the more case studies you get. The more case studies you get, the better conversions you get because you're able to share those case studies with people on your social media, which now attracts more people who are interested in that result so that now they buy your stuff, which equals better conversion. Better conversion equals more customers through the system. And it is a loop-de-loop. It is a loop-de-loop. So you can see how it starts to become a flywheel. And it makes scale very simple because now you don't have to deal with a whole bunch of problems where you don't know your offer, you don't know your messaging, you're not familiar with your avatar, you don't know how to get good results for them. These are all things that literally hinder businesses. So if you can get all these just down packed through going through a multi-stage system, I mean, dude, you set up scale to be simple. Like it's just simple as that. It's a math game at that point. So each stage builds upon the previous stage, and each stage makes your offer, your product, and your knowledge of your avatar literally everything better. Like literally everything better. LOL. That's why I said that. Because each stage makes you clearer on your offer. Each stage makes you better and clearer on your avatar. Each stage makes your product better. Each stage makes your content better. Each stage makes your ability to price higher prices better. It literally affects every single aspect and part of your company, your creator business, your YouTube channel, your YouTube business, whatever the case may be. And each stage, most importantly, makes business more money for the long term because now you're able to scale long and slow, like as in like you can now reach better heights because you have these foundations dialed in, like on rock hard solid stone. It takes longer. This really is only a 180-day process, but now after those 180 days, scaling to whatever amount of months you want per month becomes very, very simple. And if you're watching this and you're thinking, okay, I want to implement these engines into my business. I know you haven't seen the other two, but if you're starting to look at these first couple of engines and you're like, this guy's making a lot of sense. Listen, I want you to know we're taking on a limited number of clients right now. We work with educational creators who have an audience who want to scale to 6, 7, and even 8 figures. I'm taking my consulting firm personally to 100 M's plus. And if you're ready to commit to the process, there's a link in the description to book in a call. I think it's the second link. And we're going to show you exactly how these 4 engines work for your specific situation. So yeah, just book a call, link below, and yeah, I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so I want to talk about the revenue systems engine. This is the third engine. This is the actual automated behind the scenes system that makes your monthly revenue consistent and independent of the content that you post. Now we're really talking here, because now you don't have to post content to make money. This system enables you to make money even when when you're not even posting videos. It makes you money while you sleep, basically. This is how you make money predictably. So most creators just don't have this system. And it's why you have some months where you make good money and other months where you don't. You don't know when or how people buy your stuff and what actually determines people buying your stuff. If inputs will always equal an output. If you can predict and understand what inputs lead to a certain output, that is when you have a predictable system. So if you know what buttons to press that equals the outcome that you want, you have a system that you can run over and over and over again that actually works, because you're going to get the output that you know that you want based on the inputs that you have figured out. So what are these sort of inputs? These are going to be specifically buyer positioned email sequences. These are going to be funnels. These are going to be standard operating procedures for why and how something happens, such as like sales conversations and marketing and content. There's going to be CRMs to track customers and leads and where they are at within your business. The truth of the matter is, you don't have any of these, or if you do, they're not very systemized. They're not good. You're probably missing a few. And really, proper buyer positioned email sequences, proper funnels, proper standard operating procedures, CRMs, all these things, all it does is just makes things predictable. You know, based off all these things, you'll be able to track metrics and numbers that allow things to kind of be like, okay, I know a certain number of these things will always lead to this output. Now you can figure out, okay, how many do I need to do of these inputs to lead to this output? So when you have this engine in place, your revenue actually becomes predictable, because you have systems in place that make revenue become predictable. You now know your numbers, you know what actions lead to what result, aka from SOPs. You can track each stage of the buyer journey in your in your CRM, that you can naturally lead your audience to the next step. So, for example, standard operating procedures, this is where you know kind of, if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I will get a certain output. So you need to have that for every single part of your business. If you don't, how will you be able to know and be able to predict results? You're not, because everything is random. So why is this specific engine important? You need to know why and how something happens in your business for you to be able to repeat it. If you can repeat it, and especially if it's an action that leads to a good result, you can now do more of that action. And of course, there is some nuance to it, as in like sometimes more may even break the system. But of course, if you know what happens if for a certain amount of inputs to an output, you can repeat a good result and a good action that happens. You also want to be able to make money without needing to do things. Does that make sense? Most of the advice out there is always talking about do more, post more, make more offers, create this thing, create that thing. Like, that's really not it. This is actually the stuff that actually makes you money on the back end. This is how you actually help, turn your audience and expertise into income, where you don't actually have to do things to make that happen, to make that income. Like, proper buyer position email sequences will fire on their own as soon as someone maybe opts into a proper funnel that you have for your specific offer, where they will do all the sort of psychological sort of mechanisms that make somebody purchase from you. They will tell somebody why your offer is important, who you've helped, your story, why it applies to them, all these different things that kind of trigger in the buyer's brain, the audience's brain, like, hey, I need to buy this guy's product. You need standard operating procedures for why and how something happens. You need to know why a sales conversation leads to someone buying or booking a sales call or something like that, and how that actually happens, so that you can repeat that event of them booking a sales call or buying. You need to have SOPs and instructions for step-by-step instructions on how you create the content that you create. Because imagine the content you create leads to tens of thousands of dollars for every video that you create. You need to have a system for being able to create and repeat that same type of video over and over and over again without having to think. You need a CRM to be able to track your customers and leads for any single point of the buyer journey that they're in. Because, for example, the way you treat a colder lead is going to be different than how you treat a warmer lead. A colder lead, you might send some nudges every 1 to 2 days. A warmer lead, you're probably going to send some nudges to get them to the next step every 10 to 15 to 20 minutes. Like, literally, like, that's what we do over here. The revenue systems engine allows you to know what actions lead to what results, which then allows you to create things that can fire off and just kind of do its job without you having to think over and over again about why this happened, what happened here, what's going on here. And like I said, like these four engines are all in conundrum with each other, because the revenue systems engine is something that would be implemented as well with the launch engine. But you can't implement the revenue systems engine and the launch engine if you don't have a proper offer. You know what I'm saying? So the most important engine and the last engine is going to be the CEO identity engine. Like I said, this is the most important engine, and pretty much all the previous engines become useless without this engine. This is going to be the internal mindset shift that transforms you from being a content machine into actually being a CEO of real business. So like I said, this is the most important engine. Most creators are scared to charge what they're actually worth. They're scared to sell. And even though despite the fact you search for things related to monetize your audience properly, such as how to build a business for my audience, how to make money beyond views, how to stop grinding and start scaling, your actions don't actually align with what you say you want. You have a ton of expertise. You have a ton of proof that you were able to learn and gather so that you can actually share the knowledge that you share. You're not valuing yourself as someone who is worthy of that knowledge. Like, you're not valuing yourself as someone who has a ton of expertise and knowledge to share. And I know that hurts to hear, but you need to hear it. I'm only here to help you. I'm not trying to, bring you down. Your actions don't actually align with what you say you want. You say you want more money, but you don't actually treat your YouTube channel or your creator business as someone who wants to make more money. You're scared to charge what you're worth. You're scared to even sell in the first place. You're scared of feeling salesy. When in reality, you're actually the most salesy person you probably know, because you're always shilling lower ticket products and other affiliate links and sponsorships that don't actually help your audience. That's the definition of being salesy. Selling things that don't actually help your audience. So you still have the creator identity. So naturally, this means the decisions you make will be like your creator, not a business owner. This is in the form of trying to sell something and panicking when it doesn't perform as well as you thought. Like, maybe you launch, didn't perform well, you probably think it's over. You think, oh, I'm never going to make sales again. It's over for me. You're searching over and over for solutions, but ultimately blaming external forces for why the thing you tried to do didn't work. Oh, it's my audience. They can't afford my services. Oh, people don't have money. The economy it sucks right now. You make decisions out of emotion, what feels good or nice. You know what? This doesn't feel right. I don't think I should do it. I'm not going to look at any numbers or data or metrics. I'm just going to be like, yeah, this doesn't really feel good. So I think I'm going to change things. It doesn't feel like people want what I want. So let me change this. I feel like I should create this course for my audience. Let me not just ask them what they actually want. You're not investing into yourself to rather pay with your time rather than your money as well, which always comes back. So what this means is pretty much you'd rather scroll through YouTube, Reddit, and all these different forums looking for solutions rather than finding someone who knows what the knowledge that you want to obtain, and as well as knows how to get the result that you want to obtain, and paying them with money rather than paying with your time, which is searching across Reddit and all these different forums and all these YouTube channels and videos on how to make more money as a YouTuber or a creator. Money always comes back, time does not. And investing into yourself, not investing into yourself, and rather paying with something that doesn't come back is the definition of the creator identity. Another example of this is creating and spending hours and hours on videos thinking that it's going to, make you more money, posting more and more content thinking it's going to make you more money, rather than just saying, okay, freak that, this is clearly not working. Let me find someone who knows and has the solution to the thing and problems that I'm currently going through right now. The CEO identity engine is a systematic installation of the necessary frameworks, beliefs, and habits that fundamentally shift you from operating as a content machine to operating as a business owner. And this is the thing, because you could have the perfect offer. You'd have the perfect launch system, the perfect product, the perfect back end slash behind the scenes infrastructure and systems, aka the revenue systems engine, and it would all be for nothing because your internal compass doesn't match your external goals of predictable 5-figure plus a monthly income. Proof that monetizing your audience at the level you want to is actually possible. Sales independent of views, subscribers, and engagement. Go full time with your business or quit your day job or build a scalable, sellable 6, 7, or even 8-figure business without spending hundreds of hours of time doing so. You say you want these things, but your actual actions and how you think and what you align with internally doesn't match these external goals. And if your internal doesn't match your external won't manifest. So simply enough, what needs to happen if you actually want to achieve these goals is, for one, you need to remove the shame and guilt you have around monetizing your audience. I don't think you realize, dude, like monetizing and selling something valuable to your audience is genuinely like life changing. Like genuinely, like you are saving and changing lives. Like we've had like my clients, customers cry on the phone because of how grateful they are to, actually be able to join something of this nature. We have people explaining and telling their life story of why they are struggling, what they are going through, and to be able to create something that helps these exact struggles and things that they're going through and actually helps them get past all these problems is genuinely, I mean, bro, it's so transformative. It's why I love what I do. It's because, bro, I'm trying to change lives. I'm trying to help other people change lives as well across any niche. Remove the shame and guilt around monetize your audience. It's actually a blessing for them. Because if someone invests into themselves, it means they're actually serious about making a change. If they're serious about making a change, they'll actually be able to get the result that they want out of their life. They'll be able to get rid of all the problems that they have in regards to the thing that they want. You need to have confidence in your ability to charge 4-figure price points for your expertise. Charging more allows people to get better results. And you have more knowledge on your subject matter more than pretty much probably anyone else in your niche, or probably mostly anyone else in the world. To be able to encompass an audience of your size because of your expertise is a skill that pretty much no one else has, unless you're a YouTuber or a creator. Charging 4-figure price points for your expertise is honestly like the bare minimum. Like, you are too valuable. And it's a win-win for not just only you, but it is for your audience as well. If they can invest into a high 4-figure price point, it means they are very, very serious about changing their life. And it's our duty to help them get to that other side. Charge your money, because charging money is going to help them the most. You need to make decisions like a CEO rather than a creator. So what this means is you need to just simply look at data, metrics, as well as just sort of look at numbers, because numbers is what actually never, like, numbers don't lie. Feelings lie, emotions lie, but numbers do not lie. You need to think strategically and figure out, like, okay, what is kind of the best path forward for me to get to my result and get to wherever I want to go, like, as fast as possible in as simple of a way as possible. That means remove complexity, remove emotions out of decisions. You want to act as if you are really the person capable of running a 6, 7, even 8-figure a year company. Like, you have all this expertise. You have a whole bunch of people that want your help. You need to move like that. Make decisions like a CEO. Like, actually think and act and ask yourself, like, what would a CEO do in this instance? Would they continue to do and beat a dead horse of just posting and posting and posting, knowing it's not getting the result that you are looking for? Or would they take a step back and realize, like, okay, maybe there's something wrong here. What can I do? What are my options? How can I think strategically so I can get to my goal? Because at the end of the day, we're all just trying to get to our goals. Take a step back, figure out what you can do to get to your goals. Stop focusing on content. This is actually the most important thing. In fact, after this video, I don't even want you to post another video for the next 30 days. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you have thousands of people in your audience and you teach education, you don't need to post more content, bro. There's something wrong with your offer. There's something wrong with your product. There's something wrong with your foundation that's preventing you from being able to make money. So until you get those right, posting more content is just funneling more people into a system that's broken. So if you want to fix the actual entire thing, you need to strip away everything and just go back down to the root, because you can't argue with the root foundations. You can't argue with the principles. If you can fix the foundations and the principles, everything else becomes easy. The content you create becomes easy. Getting people to buy your offer and product becomes easy because you built everything from foundations. Believe that you're capable of running a real 6-figure a year business. Don't have doubts. Believe that this is actually possible for you, because it is. You have built such a large audience and you've built a substantial size audience. You already have the 6-figure year business within the audience. You even have probably the 7-figure year business within the audience. You just have to believe it's possible. And you have to believe like, okay, I can actually do this with me as me who's running the channel. Like I can actually do this. People need you, bro. Like people need you, bro, or brodette. Like they need you. They need your value. They need your expertise. They need you to help them with their problems. And it's honestly an honor. It's honestly an honor to be able to do so. So it's something that I think is very, very important to serve not only your audience, but as well as it's also going to help you and your family and everything else like that. As like, you know what I'm saying? You get to make the money that you want to make while also serving people who need help. You can try to build an offer or try to launch a product or course or community, but without the installment of these beliefs, habits, and frameworks, you're always going to build an offer you don't actually believe in. That's really the truth of the matter. You're going to sell something that you think is okay, but you feel like you don't even deserve to get paid for. You're going to launch offers half-heartedly because you're not even going to know what works. You're not going to believe you can make it work. You're going to be launching offers with emotion, not looking at the data, not looking at the numbers. You'll be confused why something doesn't work, why it does work. You'll sabotage your back end because you're not thinking like a business owner. Like I said, this is going to be the numbers. This is going to be the data. This is going to be like not actually thinking like strategically to why the numbers are like this and maybe doing research on why the numbers are like this or why this thing happened. You'll continue to post more and more content thing that's going to fix your monetization issue. So if you don't install these beliefs, habits, and frameworks, you're going to click off this video and continue to post more and more and more and still wonder why your income is inconsistent. When that happens, return back to the video and watch this part again because clearly the beliefs, habits, and frameworks were not installed into your brain. You're going to continue to underprice, and because you're underpriced, you're not going to get that many good results for your customers, which means, aka, less money in the meantime, as well as you getting burnt out because you're not getting paid in context to what you're charging for, or I mean, to what you're like selling and what you've created for your audience. And like I said, you're just going to burn out. So, how do you actually shift from creator to CEO though? Like, what does that actually mean? Well, the thing is, you actually don't. You don't need to shift from a creator to a CEO. You simply just combine the best of the CEO identity with the best of your creator identity, thus making the hybrid. That's what I've kind of coined at D-Ways Acquisition. The hybrid. So the best of your creator identity, that's your ability to attract and hold attention. That's your expertise. That's your creativity. This is your skill in being able to build a great brand. That is invaluable and it's the most, actually, if you didn't know, the most powerful skill in the entire world. There's not a single skill that's more powerful than being able to build a great brand. But now you combine that with identifying as someone who deserves 6 figures, someone who believes selling is how you serve people. I charge high prices because it allows me to rise to the price of my service and make my product even better for my audience. Someone who focuses on building a system behind my attention and views and content and have the content serve the system rather than just posting hoping people will buy your stuff. You combine the fact that you can identify as a CEO, as well as the combination of being able to build such a great brand and attract and hold attention. Now you combine this into one, creating, thus I call the hybrid, and you don't have to pick one or the other. You must become both. This is what actually makes hitting your goals possible. All right, so what actually is the solution? Like, that's really the truth of the matter. That's really the real question because we talked about the offer engine. We talked about the launch engine. We talked about the revenue systems engine. We talked about the creator to CEO identity engine. How do you actually learn to implement each one? Because I just honestly gave you a bunch of info and a bunch of stuff. And yeah, I'm sure you realize how important it is, but how do you actually learn to implement each one? So let's actually talk about it. With the offer engine, what do you have to do? Ask your audience what problem they want solved. That'll take you 3 to 5 days. You'll build a basic offer around that problem, 2 to 3 days. Then you test it with 5 to 10 people, which is 7 to 14 days. But the things you have to learn before you can actually take action on these 3 things is you're going to have to learn how to listen to your audience. That's going to be a process in itself, learning how to actually figure out what to ask, what questions to ask, what problems they have, what pain points, what desires, what do they actually want. You need to know how to structure an offer. That will probably take you 3 to 5 days. All of these things can be sped up with AI, but it's still going to be a learning curve. You're also going to need to learn how to validate demand. Like, what does that even entail? Like, how do you create posts that actually attract people to the offer? How do you speak to them that makes them want to actually buy? How do you make them getting to the process of buying even simple in the first place? And pretty much the total learn time for that is probably going to take you 2 to 3 weeks. Total execution time is probably going to take you 2 to 3 weeks. And thus, the total offer engine is 4 to 6 weeks. The launch engine. What do you have to do in order to make sure that the launch engine is fully implemented so that you can make probably 20K to 70K per stage, and on the last stage, make 100K to 300K in that final stage? Well, let's talk about squeeze launch, the first stage. You're going to have to create simple posts promoting your offer, 7 to 10 days of actual launch. Close 5 to 10 people in cap spots, 7 to 10 days of actual launch. Deliver the first few wins of product, about 4 weeks. It takes you about 3 to 4 weeks to deliver those first few wins. You'll have to collect first results, wins, and proof after those first few wins. But the timeline to learn before you can actually take action on these things, you're going to have to learn how to write copy that converts. At least 2 weeks to learn. You're going to have to learn how to sell, handle objections, close deals, at least 1 to 2 weeks to get decent. You're going to have to know how to deliver at a high level, really as many weeks of your fulfillment as you learn, and get better as you go, because like delivering at a high level is like a continuous process. You're going to have to continue to work with your customers to understand like what it means to get good results. But yeah, a lot of study also beforehand to actually understand what makes good fulfillment in the first place. You have to learn how to get proof and testimonials. That will probably take you 2 to 3 days. Before Synthesis 1, you have to learn what you'll have to do is take feedback from your first launch student, 3 to 4 days. Refine offer based on what worked, 3 to 4 days. Create better posts with new messaging, 3 to 4 days. Close more people, 10 to 20. Cap spots, 7 to 10 days of actual launch. And then deliver and collect more testimonials. Same time frame of previous stage. So it's going to be around like however long it takes to collect those first few wins and testimonials. Things to learn before you actually can take action. How to extract what worked and what didn't, 1 to 2 weeks. How to iterate and improve based on data, 1 to 2 weeks. How to write more persuasive copy based on data, 4 to 6 days. How to sell at higher volume, 2 weeks. How to systemize delivery, duration of your fulfillment. You're going to be doing that pretty much the entirety of your fulfillment because you're going to have to know what actually can be turned into a predictable system. Once again, you'll have to learn what inputs lead to what outputs. That's going to be a testing process in itself. And like I said, this is all stuff, I'm not just pulling this out of my butt. Like, I've been learning this for the past 2 years. So it took me a long time for me to be able to master all these things, to be able to get results like 28,000 in 4 days. But it took me a long time before Synthesis 2. What you'll have to do is close more people, 15 to 25, cap spots, 7 to 10 days of actual launch. Productize and systemize your product. That's going to take pretty much the duration of all previous stages up until now because, for one, like you don't get to productize and systemize your product without those first 2 stages. So you need the first 2 stages to be able to get to a point where you can build something that is productized, aka something that can be systemized and be given to people without more effort on your part, like a course, a program, whatever the case may be. You'll need to deliver and collect case studies, and like I said, duration of all previous stages up until now, you'll be delivering and collecting case studies for every single stage. But the things to learn before you can actually really take action is how to sell at even higher volume, 7 to 10 days. How to manage more students. This is going to be an ongoing thing. How to create case studies, 7 to 14 days. And how to build a truly amazing product without the right knowledge, that's going to take you months. That truly, like, based off that, I'm not going to lie, it'll probably take you some months. Synthesis, what you have to do. Finally open up your offer to 35 to 100 people without capping any spots, 10 to 14 days of actual launch. And of course, you can cap spots if you want, but you have to probably hire out a full sales team to help with all the calls that you're going to get in Synthesis. That's probably going to be a 1 to 2 week process. Fully have service productized to handle the sheer amount of volume, entirety of all previous stages, because remember, you can't build a productized service until all previous stages have shown you the proof and validation to understand and the data to understand like what actually works so that you can put it into a product. You'll have to deliver at scale using your productized system. That's going to be your revenue systems engine. That's going to be the duration of product length. Deliver and collect case studies, like I said, ongoing, previous stage, this stage, and beyond. But the things to learn before you can actually take action, you're going to have to learn how to sell at massive scale. That's going to take you probably weeks and months of work and knowledge to get up to this point. You're going to have to learn how to hire out a team. That will take you probably even longer than 2 weeks. I think I was really being just generous with this. That'll probably take you way longer. How to have service fully productized, weeks and months of work and knowledge to get up to this point. Like I said, that's going to take a long time to build out a fully productized service. You also have to know how to deliver. You also have to know how to deliver to tons of people without burning out. And that's going to take you some time because that's going to be the entirety of your fulfillment, learning operations, learning time management, learning hiring. And the total learning time, squeeze launch, 3 to 4 weeks. Before Synthesis 1, 4 to 6 weeks. Before Synthesis 2, 4 to 8 weeks. Synthesis 8 to 12 weeks. Total execution time, squeeze launch, 6 weeks. Before Synthesis 1, 6 weeks. Before Synthesis 2, 6 weeks. Synthesis, 8 weeks. And that's like the actual time of launch plus fulfilling for customers. The total launch engine, 45 to 56 weeks, which is roughly about 10 to 13 months. That's really the truth of the matter. That's how long it would take. That's not even being like, I'm not exaggerating either. Revenue systems engine, what you'll have to do. Build your evergreen backend systems such as funnels, email sequences, CRM, SOBs, etc. That'll take you 1 to 2 weeks. Document exactly how a customer buys from you. That'll take you, honestly, it might take you a little bit longer than a week for you to actually understand the exact A through Z step-by-step process of how a customer actually buys from you. And you'll need to create certain automations and SOPs so revenue doesn't rely on you, but rather than a system, about 2 to 3 weeks. The things to learn though before you can take action, I can say from experience, learning to build funnels will take you a long time. Writing buyer persistent email sequences and messaging, maybe 1 to 2 weeks to learn. How to set up CRM and track your funnel metrics, that might take you 2 weeks. I'm not gonna lie. How to create SOPs and document processes, that'll probably take you 2 to 3 weeks to learn. How to build proper automations and systems that keep this engine going, that will probably take you about 2 to 3 weeks as well. Total learning time, 9 to 13 weeks. Total execution time, 4 to 6 weeks. Total revenue systems engine, 13 to 19 weeks. And finally, the CEO identity engine, what you have to do. Remove the shame and guilt around monetizing your audience. Pretty much, most of these are going to be ongoing. You'll be ongoing this while you're doing the other 3 engines. That's going to take you 2 to 4 weeks. Build confidence in charging 4-figure price points. Ongoing, 4 to 8 weeks. Make decisions like a CEO, not a creator. Ongoing, 8 to 12 weeks. It'll probably take you a long time for you to actually internalize some of these things. Building confidence is probably going to take you some time to internalize. Stop focusing on content and start focusing on business. You've been ingrained and kind of been taught that this is how to really grow and make money, and it'll take some time to unlearn. And just believe you're capable of running a 6-figure business. You'll go through ups and downs, emotional swings of believing that you're capable one day and not believing that you're capable another day. That's what I'm saying. It'll take some time to actually adopt that identity, but when you do, it'll be very, very good. So, but the things you have to learn before you actually can take action is you have to learn how to shift from I'm a creator to I'm a CEO and what that entails. 2 to 4 weeks. You need to learn how to build pricing confidence. That'll take some time, 4 to 8 weeks. Learning CEO decision-making frameworks. That'll take some time. Shifting focus from content to systems. That will take some time. Figuring out like what systems to even focus on in the first place. Installing the belief that you deserve 6 figures. It takes time to install these type of things. Total learning time, 12 to 20 weeks. Total execution time, 12 to 20 weeks. Runs in parallel with all other engines. Total CEO identity engine, 12 to 20 weeks. So, the total learning time between all 4 of these engines is 42 to 66 weeks. The total execution time, so this is what you do after, you've learned, is 44 to 59 weeks. And like I said, I mean, you're going to be executing as well as learning at the same time, but really, yeah, 44 to 59 weeks to actually execute, and that runs in parallel with all other engines. And really, the total time to be able to implement all 4 of these engines, and really, this is being very kind of I'm giving some grace with this because really, I wouldn't expect this to take more than probably 70 plus to 80 plus weeks. 56 to 62 weeks is about 13 to 14 months. This is probably about maybe 15 to 17 months, maybe 18 months. So, truth of the matter is, that actually is what is required. That's what is required, probably around 13 to 18 months, really, to get this to a point where you can build a business that's at multi 6, 7, or even 8 figures a year, to a point where you don't actually need to rely on a lot of the other things that other people might need to rely on in order to sustain these type of years. This is what is required so that you can actually scale in a very, very simple fashion. But of course, I'd be a fool to just lay that out on you and not offer something 100 times better. So if you do it yourself, learning offer structure while building your first offer, learning copy while writing your first post, learning sales while taking your first sales calls, learning delivery while serving your first clients, learning systems while building your first funnel, and learning CEO mindset while running your first launches. Really, the problem lies therein. It's not that it's like, yeah, these things will take some time to learn, but What really is a problem is like you're also learning and executing simultaneously. So you're doing both at the exact same time, figuring it out as you go. And just no doubt about it, you're going to make mistakes. Like I've gone through all the time, 2 years of doing and learning all of these different things. And it's been hours, weeks, months, literally years at this point of learning, implementing, making mistakes, figuring out where I went wrong, fixing things, improving, whatever the case may be. The revenue, because you're not just going to do this and not make some money. The revenue, though, if everything works out, is most likely going to be 0 to 180K. And that's just because you're going to make mistakes. Like, that's really, you might not make any money while doing this. And the truth of the matter is, you most likely will. Most likely you're not gonna mess up that bad. Like most likely you will make some money, but the risk is very high because you might have the wrong offer. You might have bad copy. You might have a broken funnel. You might get burned out trying to do all of this. That's really the truth of the matter. Because like I said, the total time is about 13 months, 13, 14 months, but really it's probably anywhere closer to 17 to 18 months. Just because you have other responsibilities, you have other things you're probably doing. And really the truth of the matter is you're trying to basically do everything by yourself. Offer, marketing, sales, delivery, systems, CEO mindset. While at your current stage, you are currently drowning by the amount of content you're trying to post. You're not really making the money that you say you want to be making, and you want to get to these big numbers per month, and you're just struggling. You don't know where to even go. You don't even know what to really do. Most advice out there isn't even telling you the right thing to do because most advice out there is from people who don't actually know what to do. And that's really the truth of the matter. But what happens if you do with us? D-Ways acquisition. Really, the learning time is 0 weeks because we've already figured out everything out for you. Like I said, I've been doing this for the past 2 years. Just scroll through my YouTube channel. The learning time is 0 weeks. The execution time is 180 days total. And the beautiful thing about it is you actually get to also learn while executing in a very simpler way because we tell you exactly what offer to build, no guessing. We help you and give you the exact copy frameworks, no testing. We coach you through all your sales calls, no fumbling. We show you and give you all the scripts and everything required to make sure that your sales calls work. We show you how to deliver at scale so that you can actually build an amazing productized system slash service that you can scale to infinite amount of the same avatar going through that same system. We build and install the systems with you. No learning curve because we've already taken the time and effort to learn. And then we help you install the CEO mindset as you go so that you don't have imposter syndrome. And really the benefit lies therein is that you get to learn and execute at the same time following a structured system and roadmap. Because like I said, we have taken the time. We have already taken all the complexity and all the time learning curve that it takes. Like those 17 to 18 months that you would have taken the time to learn all this by yourself, we've already done it for you, bro. Like that's why I'm here. I've done it for you. I'm here. Like I want to help educational creators and YouTubers. I've taken the time to learn all this stuff for you. You get to skip all the mistakes I made. You get to skip all the guessing that will happen. I can guarantee you it will. Take it from me by doing it yourself. You also save a ton of time, bro. Thousands of hours, genuinely, bro. And like I said, if you want to start thinking like a CEO, you need to start valuing your time more than you do, for example, money and content. Like, money is not that important in the grand scheme of things. Like, yes, cool. We want to make millions. We want to make a lot of money. But like, time on this earth is what is really the most precious, and that's why I actually value the most. And it's what you should value the most because you can't take your money to the grave. We all die in this here. So you feel me? And now with revenue, you get to make 125K to 500K, so you literally get to make more in way less time. It's actually kind of like a no-brainer. And this is just based on actual numbers because if you just add up how much you are expected to make from stage to stage to stage to stage, it adds up to 125K to 500K. We just made 28K in 4 days, bro. And we made 10K in 6 days the month prior. I mean, it's kind of like a no-brainer. And the risk is very low. We've done this twice now and are actively putting other creators like you through the exact same system. Like, literally, we only include the things that get you to your end goal of predictable 5-figure a month monthly income, proof that monetizing your audience at the level you want to is actually possible, sales independent of views, subscribers, and engagement, full time with your business or quit your day job and build a scalable, sellable 6, 7, or even 8-figure a year business without spending hundreds of hours of time doing so. So what you get in actual 6 months with us is in your first 16 days, we get to implement the offer engine and we get to do stage one of the launch engine. Squeeze launch. We help you package your expertise into one clear offer. You validate with 5 to 10 people. Cash 20K to 60K in only 16 days. And like I said, we just did 28K in 4 days. So you can do kind of the math on that. And basically, we collect to prove that people want what you're selling. Month 1 through 3, we now implement the launch engine, BS1, before synthesis 1, and then the revenue systems foundation. We show you how to refine based on feedback. You close 10 to 20 people with all of our systems. You cash collect 30K, 70K. You could cash collect more, but we're specifically capping spots at 10 to 20 people. So, however, whatever price you charge at will be however much cash you make. But we're capping spots at 10 to 20 people. You now have the back end foundation built. The systems for a back end foundation for when you now start to implement your SOPs, your email sequences, your specific processes that allow you to repeat outcomes. That's all a revenue system engine is. Month 3 to 4.5, launch engine before synthesis 2, and then now we also are now really full on implementing the revenue systems engine. We help you build 20 plus case studies. We help you build funnels, email sequences, CRM, SOPs, processes that make your start to get your results kind of predictable now. And like I said, cash 30K, 70K again. But like I said, that could be more or less depending on how many people. I mean, we're letting in 10 to 20 people, probably a little bit more with Launch Engine BS2, but it depends on obviously like what you're charging stuff at. And at this point, revenue is running on autopilot because now you don't have to just wait to make money like for these like launch engine and launches that we have. You have systems that in place that allow you to make money even when you're fulfilling and getting good results for your customers after a launch is over. Month 4.5 to 6, synthesis launch plus CEO identity engine. Now, of course, the CEO identity engine is what we're implementing throughout the entirety of this 180-day process. But at this point, you really now feel like a CEO by the time you're at the month 4.5 to 6 mark because you're launching at full scale, 50 to 100 people. That's going to really completely shift you from creator to CEO. You're going to have to think like a business owner. You're going to have to rise up to the fact that you're a business owner. You have massive proof, dialed in messaging, offer and avatar, and proven systems because you just went through 3 stages testing and building these proven systems. These systems are simply just built on validation, data, and feedback. That is how good systems are built, all of these 3 things. You get to cash collect 100K to 300K. You now have the freedom to choose how to run your business. Sales calls or no sales calls. Lean team, big team. Do it yourself, one-to-one, or group coaching, or hybrid. You get to choose. And the total in all of these 6 months is 180K to 500K. That's just from the launches. Now, after the launches are over, I mean, at this point, you should really be at 20, whatever amount you like actually want to be making per month, depending on how many spots you allow in per month. 20, 50, 100, 200K per, like genuinely, like these are numbers you can now start to hit because now you have all the foundations to now start to implement certain things that allow you to scale, which is referrals, partnerships, dialed in appointment setting process, ads, all these different things that allow you to scale either organically or with paid ads and whatever the case may be. You now have a scalable and repeatable system. So I say that all to say, if you are actually ready to implement these 4 engines into your business and scale to 6 figures, 7 figures, even 8 figures a year, like I said, I'm taking my firm to 9 figures. I'm building the #1 creator monetization firm ever. The link is in the description to book in a call with us. We're going to walk you through exactly how this works for your specific niche, your specific audience, and your specific situation. We are taking on a limited number of clients this quarter. I can only handle so much volume, dude. I am preaching. I'm a man. I do what I preach. I'm capping spots so that I can rebuild the foundations, and then we can launch again once those foundations are set. So we're only limited on how many people we can take. So please, if you're serious, book in a call today. I want to help you build your education business, and I want to do it with you. D-Ways Acquisition. So I just want to say, first of all, thank you for watching this video. I really hope this was insightful. I really hope you were able to gain some value from this because the truth of the matter is I just want to really build a #1 creator monetization firm, and I'm going to do so. So I'm going to do so by helping people like you. And yeah, stay tuned, subscribe for more, book in a call. If you're not ready to book in a call, watch the first video below. It's a full 2-hour course on how to actually build a 6 to 7 figure a year education business / YouTube channel / YouTube business / creator business. So I'll see you in the next video. Yeah, thank you for watching.